Okay, I
All right.
got it. It's being
Okay, Mark Pederman, take take your screen off, please. All right, Brad, am I empowered to mute people?
you should be.
All right, that's comforting to know. All right, if only the reverse were true for all of you. I wish it upon you. All right. Things I wanted to say after the recording starts. We're going to take your picture on on the screen and put the notification of who was here in the meeting notes on the SVFig website. If you haven't been there, go be there. If you have anything to comment on amidst the cobwebs and mistakes and things, send your notes to Dave Jaffe. His email contact information is widely available on the actual website. And please let me say at this time that I'm very grateful to Dave for his various roles, including webmaster. Uh, so I notice on MeetUp that our logo pick is kind of hacked off. If somebody could provide one that looks more appropriate, the logo, the SVFig logo is available for download. I believe John Ribel did the original artwork for that. I hope he watches the YouTube videos. We're always grateful to see him when he can make the scene. So coming in January, hopefully the Green Arrays guy will come and talk about Green Arrays. Brad will be talking about seasonal haiku. So we can drink double bock beer and talk about winter haiku, fourth haiku, that is. The link to the app is in the meetup notes for this month's meeting. So if you haven't tried haiku, go give it a go. You can watch any one of a couple of YouTube videos that tell you, get you started and how to do it. For those of you who were here last year in January, you saw Jack Ware talking about quantum computing. Well, it's a tradition. I feel like we should play theme music whenever I say that. So we still have plenty of room for your talk in January, wherever the heck you are. I always take it with a certain amount of delight when somebody says, I already told you what my talk is. No, I didn't mean your talk. I meant everybody else's talk besides yours. Well, funny way you have of saying it. Okay, at least you got a chuckle out of it. I don't see. Let me have a quick look at the participants. Get it up onto another display here. Brad, do you have a talk from Bill Ragsdale?
No, I do not. Was I supposed? Oh, was there a download that he'd sent us, or no?
He said he was going to give a talk on some examples of floating point conversions. I do not see him here at this time. I have unfortunately no way of putting his a phone call to him on the meeting, which may be amusing. So we won't take it as content when I call him. I'll just wait until after I've muted the meeting. Let's see what we got here. Let me share screen and see if we can make it screen 2.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think he sent us anything pre-recorded this month, so
Well, I had assumed since he had to say I'll make a recording that he was going to actually be here in Corpus. I'll call him and ask him after the meeting gets going. But we may we may quit a little early this month. Uh, so now might be a good time to take a screenshot and for the meeting notes. So we're gonna have your ugly mugs on the actual meeting notes this month. No obscene gestures. Brad, are you going to do that?
I just took one. I can give
You're
folks,
awesome.
so.
Okay,
I can give folks some warning. Oh, Dave actually posed with his. That's cute.
I just wanted to be sure that we were all in the same. Oh, Bill Ragsdale's here. What a relief. I don't have to call him. All right. I'm going to take a couple of minutes now to walk through the viewing of the agenda, since one of our colleagues mentioned that it may not be intuitively obvious. So the first thing I'm going to do is share screen. Okay, there we go. Can everybody see my screen? Or does it say Zoom? All
You can
right.
see your screen.
All right, what a relief. And see if we can start Chrome without bringing up any porn. Okay. Let's see. Okay. If anybody sees any porn on my browser, let me know. Okay. Now, we've had problems with people that can't find the SV Fig meetup. Google is your friend. That's what I was talking about. The Fig logo does not appear in its entirety. Uh, if anybody can make a Fig logo that can fit in their photo format, now would be a good time. You can message me offline sometime in the future. All right, so this is the Meetup SV Fig main page. Silicon Valley Fourth Interest Group, it says at the top. The scroll down and the first thing you see that's actual content after what we're about, wandering around dazed and confused, discussing and learning about the fourth programming language. Wow, that's brilliant. There's more there, but let's not take it. So there's the December SVFig Zoom meeting. And it says I'm going. Well, I'm here, so I must be going. If you haven't signed up for this, go to MeetUp and sign up before the meeting. You can do it now if you're bored with this presentation. It's nice to know that we have a roster of people that are actually going to be there for people that are interested in fourth. They come across the meetup and they say, oh, well, 2 people went to the meeting this month. Must not be interesting. So there it is. It says details. I think this went up Tuesday or Wednesday. It says agenda, ceremonial starting the recorder. Okay, great. Oh, it says 4th day after action review. Cool. I don't know how much content that's actually going to be. I had a great time at 4th day. 4th day was great. I moved that as a resolution. All in favor? Okay, you all consented. Da 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 da. Okay, so that's how you get to the Zoom meeting agenda on MeetUp. And somebody's drawing on my screen. Is there, Brad, is there some way to find out who did that?
I'm seeing if there's an option to turn it off, but let's see.
No, no, you don't have to. I find it amusing. All right. So there it is. Doug, are you okay with that?
Well, I'm only seeing down to December Zoom meeting, third Saturday, then that's it. You only got, there's no agenda really. It's
Are
the
you seeing
starting of
what's
it.
on? Are you seeing what's on the Zoom screen right now?
Yeah, it says detail. Yeah, but there's,
Yeah, it says details. Then it say there will be no in-person meeting, and then below that it says number agenda,
right,
and then it says ceremonial starting the recorder. We did that.
right. Yep.
Day after
Oh,
action review. That's the next item on the agenda.
okay. Now I'm seeing it. You're moving
Examples
it.
of, yeah, because I scrolled down the
Okay.
page,
Okay.
and there's the rest of the agenda.
Oh, all right.
And if you scroll up to the top, it says all durations, descriptions are approximate or perhaps entirely inconsistent with what will eventually transpire. I think Sung Si said no fourth meeting agenda has ever survived contact with the enemy. All right. So we did the logo pick. We did January's coming attractions. We talked about Zulu time. I want to talk about donations because I need money. Right now, I'm paying for the meetup. We have hundreds, literally, and I use the word literally, literally. We literally have hundreds of people subscribe to us on Meetup. I don't know how many of them get our actual notifications. You can turn them off, much to be desired, in my opinion, to be able to turn any blathering off. But they're signed up as being members in good standing of our Meetup assemblage, entitled to all the rights and privileges there too. You can read all the bios of all
I
the
drink
people.
orange juice after brushing my teeth.
Okay. I'm going to now, I thought I stopped sharing. It didn't stop. Oh, it has stopped. What a relief. I wonder who that was that drinks orange juice after brushing their teeth. Somebody just passing through, no doubt.
Oh yeah, that's
Hey,
amazing. I'm
Kevin,
proud
yeah,
of doing that.
Jeremy, yeah, I saw him saying that. I think he might be a Zoom bomber. I think we might have one on our hands.
Yeah.
Somebody muted him. Okay. All right. Any
Kevin,
Yes,
for
sir.
donations.
Yeah.
Is there a place we can donate by PayPal?
Yes, just send it to my email address, forther@comcast.net. That's my PayPal.
That takes memory. You put a bug on the meetup page and on the Fig page, so you just click on it. That way, it's always at your fingertips when people hit any Fig publication. It's got the PayPal bug on it.
Okay, noted. The problem with that is that when I embezzle the money, it's always just so icky if there's a good record of it. Other than this YouTube pronouncement where I'm going to claim that I'm embezzling the money. All right. I used to say, okay, it may go to Starbucks, but I did spend the money on the storage. So, all right. Comments about Fourth Day. All right. Don ran out of time for his talk. Sorry that Fourth Day is the one time where we're jammed full enough not to be able to be a little more flexible with with people and the schedule. Brad, I had a question for you. Did that gentleman, did you ever have any kind of contact with that gentleman who wanted to expand on your talk?
I did not. Although I did notice that he had actually shown up at one prior SB Fig meeting and done a brief presentation once. So he's someone we've had contact with before, but intermittent. So.
Oh, okay. Interesting. If you'd maybe drop him a line or whatever and ask him what he was about and whether he'd like to talk about it at the meeting, I'd be ecstatic. I'm going to mute Doug Hammett because I just like to mute people. With that, I'm going to mute myself and encourage Bill Ragsdale to present. Thank you, Bill. Well, I note that Don hasn't joined us. So he had sent an email saying he was going to be on travel, but I thought that meant that he was going to be delivering his presentation on travel. Unfortunately, he ran out of time on fourth day and wanted to deliver his complete presentation and expand on it. That was his stated intent. I have it in writing, but the bottom line is, since he's not here, he's not going to be doing that today, as near as I can tell. We could either mock him in his absence. Anybody care to give an ad hoc, impromptu expostulation on some exciting topic? I wanted to ask Mr. Wycliffe, John Wycliffe, tell us your status and when do you think you're going to be giving a presentation? Let's see, how many Johns do we have? Oh, we're out of Johns. Okay, there are only two. We needed a third. All right. So, rumors, gossip, rambles, reminiscences.
Another question for Brad. Your micro fourth that'll run on any Pico device, right? The regular Raspberry Pi Pico and.
So I haven't gotten. I need to get my hands on one. I haven't gotten around to trying it. Although it sounds like Mark Peterman has actually gotten it to run. Judging by the chat, sounds like he's had some success. So he's the functionality that's specific to the Pico Ice obviously won't work, but I believe the way all of that is implemented is over the SPI interface coming out of the RP 2040. So it sort of doesn't having it there doesn't hurt when you're on the Pico, other than that the words don't work. But maybe Mark could speak to his success. It sounds like he's gotten it working on that on a vanilla Raspberry Pi.
For the PIO, are you planning on like creating fourth words for each of the instructions, or I'm curious what your thinking is there?
It looks like it would be straightforward. I've done some other assemblers, and this is a very simple language. So it would seem like it would be straightforward. There's even some of the C samples in the Raspberry Pi repo actually do kind of dynamic code gen, because you can just fill up an array of 30 these 32 16-bit values. So there's some macros, there's some C macros that do it. So I think it's almost certainly something I would do as a little mini assembler or something there. But it's so what I'll probably do in looking for the PIO interface is just to understand that I was noticing that there's quite a bit of knobs to it, because there's, in addition to setting the 32 instructions, there are a bunch of knobs to set the behavior of the, like, which pins it's assigned to, and some of the clock dividers and so on. So what I'm hoping to distill out is just the minimum set of settings that you need to be able to do the things. Whereas I think some of the wrappers in the library appear to be set up for some common use cases, and that would probably be easier to just do that over again and forth, and then not have bindings for everything. But
Thank you.
All right, there's a lull in the action. I have a question, Brad. It's completely off in left field. Let's say I wanted a burning Yule log behind me, and I had a green screen available. Is that something that Zoom can do, or would I need to enhance it in some way?
I believe that there is a mechanism to let you do dynamic backgrounds, and I'm trying to remember. Maybe I can even. So of course, now you asked me to find it live here, and then
No, just
yeah, I think
I didn't have ready a fireplace for the fireside chat this year. It was a IQ test failure on my part. You know, you had one job and you screwed it up.
Let's see.
But
yeah, I'll look into that. I know there are certainly people that plugs things in at the level of their video system within their device, so that Zoom doesn't even have to kind of be any the wiser. It just thinks that it's talking to a camera. And I'm trying to remember. I want to say I've done that once, but I forget if it was on a Mac or on a PC. So, but there may be something. There are some basic animated ones that are built in, but that's not what you're looking for. Let's see, plus add video. Aha. Ooh, okay. I might be able to do this live. All right. If you give me a moment to find a video of a Yule log, I will see if I can do this to my own video. Let's see. Yule log video. So the option, if you're interested, it looks like it's just under. Actually, I can present. Let's see.
So Mark Petterman says, Brad has done an enormous job, but all development requires documentation. I can help in this regard, but he only sent it to me. So, Mark, did you want to elaborate on that, or bring it up directly with Brad, because I'm out of the loop in this regard?
But by the way, Mark, you've emailed me with some of the documentation information, and I confess it's large. I appreciate your efforts. I just have sort of finite bandwidth, and I often awash in emails and drowning in things. Apologies if I've been slow to respond. Sometimes it's busy things here. Where can I just, let's see. I just need to, so for let's see. Ooh, Christmas Yule log. Here we go. Okay, so I just need to download this video. If I can, there we go. Download that. No, all right.
Okay. Mark doesn't wish to speak, so I encourage Mark to continue discussing documentation directly with Brad, because I'm not involved.
Cool. So Kevin, it does look like it's possible, and I will hopefully be able to demonstrate it momentarily. I guess while I'm waiting for a video to download, it looks like what you would do is let me let me see if I can screen share Zoom itself so I can show you where the setting resides. So if you, I'm going to see if this actually, so if you go into, on the little tabby thing at the bottom, if you go into video settings, there is a video option, and then there's backgrounds and effects, and then I'm waiting for this log that I found online to download extremely slowly for some reason, and it appears that there is the option of adding a video, and so we will be able to try this in apparently 31 seconds.
Okay, under my video settings, I've got choose virtual background.
And then you see the little plus sign in the upper right corner.
No.
Actually, can you see my screen currently?
Yes, we see your screen. You are viewing Brad Nelson's screen.
Okay, and you see that I'm on the background. You're on the backgrounds and effects screen, and you've got virtual backgrounds. And
We
I
don't
see-
we don't see the Zoom controls. We see your Chrome browser. We see the browser.
I
Who
see.
can start a calibration?
I see. So
I tell you what, don't feel you have to do this on the spot, or for that matter at all. If you care to figure it out, I encourage you to do it like offline. And oh man, he did it.
So yes, I found the setting. Apparently, Zoom does not do the meta thing of showing you your own settings live. I'll take a screenshot and send it to you, Kevin, to show you where it is. But so we can have fire for the next occasion in which we need fire. It looks like.
Well, it seems pretty straightforward. It says choose virtual background. Where's the help for Zoom?
So you're close to the right screen. There should be like a little plus sign inside of a box towards the upper right of that.
Okay, well, the great book for ESP32 fourth. That's Mark Petterman's screen. Okay, so virtual blur. Okay, I can blur my background.
You're so close to the right screen there, Kevin. Let's see. If you look where it says blur, and on the same row with the virtual backgrounds, video filters, avatars, there's a plus sign inside of a little box.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah,
I see it. Add image.
And then add image, but if you click on it, it also offers to add video. So if you have an MP, you have to download an MP4 somewhere of a Yule log, and then you will have fire as well.
All right. Does everybody see the pelican?
I see the pelican.
Yes.
Okay, so I allege that there will be a fireplace for next year. It will be static, because that seems like a more practical use of this facility than Brad's very skillful invocation of the fire god. So are you going to have to contend with being stuck and having your liver pecked out? Because never mind. Wasn't that the canonical penalty for bringing fire to the never mind. It's my failing it's my failing memory that gets me every time. Let's see, cut and paste and inattention to detail. Yes, those are the two. I'd like to go around the room and introduce ourselves. I'm Kevin Appert. I'm the program chairman, and other furniture is required. If you could do it without citing your pronouns, introduce yourself. Let's go from the bottom of the list. Sue, you're new here. It's good to see you.
Oh, hi. Can you, yeah, I'm muted.
We can hear
I'm
you.
Susan Laird, and I'm in Philadelphia, Great Princeton. I think I learned about Chuck Moll's programming on a social site called Advocado. It was by Google engineer. In my undergraduate, I studied nuclear instrumentations, you know, all the Geiger counters and all this computer hardware interfacing with other nuclear experimental, you know, detectors and stuff. But I came to United States 1992. Since then, my professional is like IT support, you know, database and network troubleshooting stuff. So
Welcome. It's
and
good to have.
yes, I never learned, I mean, get down to fourth, although I did ordered some green array board and with, you know, Professor Moore's handwritten debugging notes and stuff. I feel very lucky, but I never got it working. And now I'm sort of semi-retired. I want to, and the other thing I want to do is I have a conjecture about Chinese Go game. I have this 3D board, how to mapping that as a closed algebraic solution to the 2D conventional Go board. And how do you describe the position of the stones? I'm sort of, it's all in my head. And I think that fourth is closest, easiest I can do those kind of calculation, you know, that's very fast stretching. But that's my angles. And also translating. Right now, I do a lot of readings and translating between different language frameworks. And I was impressed by the other person with combining the force interface with the ChatGPT. It's kind of learning a foreign language. I want to find some fast path, you know, audio learning tools and visual and stuff. So good to be in these meetings. I learn a lot by the conversations you folks have. All right, I'm gonna mute it.
Thank you, Sue. It's good to have you here. Welcome. Siva, next up from the bottom.
I'm a fourth enthusiast. Nothing special, you know. So I've been
Okay.
looking-
We're going to have to encourage you to present something sometime in the near future. So get it in gear. Rolf Hemmerling. Going once, going twice. Have your finger on the unmute button, those of you that are muted. All right. Richard Hare. We can't hear you. At least I can't hear you. I think it was not last month, but the month before. This happened to me where I was madly plugging in different headsets and things and just couldn't get anything to work. All right, we'll get back to you. Interrupt us if you suddenly get things to work. All right, Mr. Stephen A. That could be my son, but I doubt it is.
No, I am not your son.
Well, my son is named Stephen and my initial is A, so you can understand how I might have said that. Stephen, who are you and why? What brings you here? Tell us about your experience with Forth.
Well, I was a professional programmer for, let's say, 10 to 15 years and programmed FoxPro with SQL Server on the back end and then C#.NET with the same SQL Server on the back end. And And I thought, well, there's got to be a better language, or there's got to be. So I started just researching languages, and that led me to fourth. Dave Jaffe. So I was trying to figure out what makes a good language, what makes the best language, because we have this from Code Complete, the book Code Complete. Our prime directive, our prime technical directive, is the management of complexity. And as we all know, as you write code, it just sort of exponentiates in complexity, no matter what you write. So we have to try every single trick in the book and every single angle that we can to try to keep our code from getting too complex. Well, that led me to a paper, Why Concatenative Programming Matters, which finally led me to the answer that I was searching for. I didn't know what I was actually searching for, but this is what I was searching for. It appears that there's one less degree of freedom when you're using concatenative rather than using applicative languages. So that means actually that fourth is superior to C. Surprise, surprise.
Who knew? I prefer to think of C as being inferior to fourth. I always used to say that the meeting place at the old HP Oak Room outside, there were a large number of handicap spots, and I thought that they might have a lot of C programmers there, but that was just my pronouncement at the time. Haven't uttered that for many, many years because it might get me canceled. All right. Who are we at here? Edward Boraski. What are you working on? What's new and exciting? Find your unmute button. Okay. John G.
Okay, I am here.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I am here. Okay. What am I working on? Funny you should ask me that. Would you believe another fourth for the Raspberry Pi Pico?
Who knew such a thing was even possible?
Yeah. I talked about this back in March, and I pretty much put it on hold most of the summer, but I'm back to it. Back in March, I was thinking of doing things with Zeptoport, but I decided that when I got back to it, I decided I wanted Pico SDK compatibility more than raw efficiency of Zeptoport. So I started writing my own port in assembler for the Raspberry Pi Pico. I started out with subroutine threading and inlining, and there are a couple of issues with that, and I have now switched to direct threading. So that's the latest. I'll post the link to the channel, to the project in the channel. I'm expecting to have a release by the end of the year. I also have a Pico Ice board, and will be getting to FPGAs at some point, but I want to get the raw Pico version running first. So that's what's new with me.
All right. John G. Who the heck are you? Why are you here?
Who the heck am I and why am I here? I've just been attending the fourth users group since, what is it, the early 90s? way back when Skip was pulling him in. I guess I forgot where, but it was in like Sunnyvale. So, oh, that's cool.
That was at Cogswell College, right across the street from Spacely Sprocket University. I think, if I'm recognizing the epoch of which you speak.
Yes, yes. And
I was wondering,
obviously I've been
speaking
in
of-
and out of the fourth group based on, leaving California for a period of time and then coming back into it. And it's been primarily just dealing with G4th, just on the, I've been, doing it on the Raspberry Pi originally in the way back when the A's came out. And just trying to actually get one of their new Raspberry Pi 5s that it's supposed to be pretty beefy for doing processing. So
Bob Armstrong, tell me, how is Cozy today?
I'll tell you one of the things that really, actually, one thing just as an overview, I'm sort of an outlier in the group because I've spent most of my adult life since I learned APL at the other level of coding, and that even caused me to do a couple of decades where my local Citibank branch that I walked to was 111 Wall Street. And but the thing is that I want to go and make if you will, a whole stack. Stack seems to be the big thing now to describe languages, but the whole stack, all the way from the simplicity of the math, but far simplified. It strikes me more and more how much simpler Cozy in open fourth is than traditional APL, which confounds syntax and semantics. And even check out kx.com to see where the direct predecessor of Cozy. But to have the open stack all the way to the hardware, all the way, whatever it may be, so you can map your high level concepts, including particularly nowadays AI is the big thing, and I think it goes through some of that at that level, but be able to talk about things at the level of the mathematics, but map them all the way to the machine. But I'll tell you one of the things to get right down to today, I'd really like somebody to show me how to simply go and get and put information from a web page. Because right now I can start web pages, but I don't know how to get and put because I'm that ignorant about all things that are outside of APL and Forth. So that's my pitch. Oh, also I want to get a video cam and turn it so that I can have Pike's Peak here in its various shades, which is when I turn my head this way, what I'm looking at is Pike's Peak, which is nicely snow covered and everything now with a couple of chemtrails. They've got to be chemtrails, right? Every few days, every once in a while, when the atmosphere is just right, people decide to load planes secretly with chemicals and spit them out in the long lines in the atmosphere. So
we have something like that in the San Francisco Bay Area, in the hills around the peninsula. There are ejectors that throw chemicals up into the air to encourage it to rain. At least
Bob?
there were. I don't know if they're still there.
I have a question
yeah.
for Bob.
Yeah.
I know you used to use Riva. Is it related to Cozy?
Yeah, no, I've just, in a sense, I've just needed a very stable platform to go and construct. I mean, including, one of the most fundamental, if you will, thresholds is the memory management. And to go, and in any case, it's just been a lot of development, and Cozy, as a matter of fact, will only be clean when it is moved to some other cleaner underlying fourth base, and also moved to multiple machines. But yeah, no, it's currently still based in the old Riva, and as a matter of fact, not even the last update of Riva.
One more question. Ron,
Yeah,
who made Riva, he's made a more up to date language called Eighth, which is cross platform, and it might actually fit with what you want to do.
except I'm actually more interested in going to something that is more fundamental and clean, and simple, and in a sense, there's some conflict in ideas, which is the same thing that's true with Winforth.
So you've checked out his Eighth?
I actually get Ron's weekly
email. Okay.
Email, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for his industry, and yeah, but I if you will, I'd rather go to, if you will, a clean slate sort of a thing. Some of the sorts of work that Brad has done.
Like the 3-instruction fourth of Pygmy?
Yeah, I don't know, but one of the things is directly to the silicon, because to me, I go and I see. I mean, there are now people going and making concatenated versions of APL, but in a sense, they sort of, I think, miss the point of going in and building from, well, I'll call it a hardware language. I mean, you know, if you're not working from the silicon up and transparently and having a minimal vocabulary to get you off the ground, then it's less relevant to me. I'd put it that way. I mean, I think that's the brilliance of Forth, is that it's, you know, sort of, how do you go and make yourself a dictionary capable of extending itself? It contains the vocabulary to extend itself. So.
All right, thank you.
All right, Charles excuse my pronunciation, Magnaval, you're unmuted.
Yes.
Do you care to say something?
Yes, hello everybody. First time here. Well, I've been learning Forth a very long time ago on Canon X07. That was very old on Zilog X80. And then I switched to other languages, and I've been a professional developer since, working a lot of Java on the web, and coming back to Forth for my own purpose. I'm very interested in all the microcontrollers embedded system, and I've been working with Arduinos and Raspberry Pi Pico and SP32, and I'm very interested by the work of Brad porting Forth on these computers, but I have some problem compiling everything. And I've got a Pico board here with HDMI outputs, and I want to try it with Forth. So I will be interesting to talk to Brad to discuss about that. Thanks everybody for these interesting conversations.
Thank you. If you care to present something in the near future, please get in touch with me. We'd be more than pleased to have you. I see. I thought that was the Bluebird of Happiness behind me. It looks like it's just a J. Okay. Bill Ragsdale is unmuted. Maybe he wants to say something.
Well, let's see. Let's deviate completely, and I will share my screen and share with you.
We're in random access, so deviating completely is malassessed.
Here, we'll share with you a magic trick. This presentation introduces 4 quarters, which I'll locate at the 4 corners of my mat. And there's sound there, but the sound somehow went away. Covers. I cover.
We hear the sound.
Cover from the front, cover 2 from the side, or double up. I'll take the 4 of hearts to cover the first coin. Take the 2 of hearts to cover the second. Coin number 1, coin number 2, coin number 1 in the palm, the vanish. First coin is joined. Third coin, simply cover with the hands, they vanish. Third coin is joined. Now, the 4th coin is a little more difficult, so keep your eyes open. I'll reach under here, take the 4th coin out, move it across invisibly, transform it, push it through this card, and all 4 coins have joined. Now, some of you suspiciously may think that I use a 5th coin, and I have to admit that I actually do, because I always try to incorporate my own personal lucky coin, the British penny. There we go. Applause is warranted.
Yay! I can't find the button for the applause emoji, so I'll just have to actually clap.
No.
I see among the reactions is raise hand and hi and thumbs up and tears, maybe of laughter, of joy. Oh, as in amazement, a heart and a popper, like for a celebration or New Year's Eve. But nowhere is there applause.
Yeah, that's how I fill my time in between doing 4th ham radio operators and programming. Anyway, thank you.
I feel like we need to get together at Stanford for another lockpicking class.
And now Kevin's muted.
I'm right here. I was talking to my wife.
We're the mute police here.
No, I'm the mute police actually, along with unfortunately my finger on the button was not sufficient. I guess we got 2 or 3 different episodes of Zoom boomers here.
I have a general question. I'm not sure. I'm interested in 4th optimizers. What 4th development systems have optimizing compilers?
Polyforth, not Polyforth, but its descendant, both in the embedded version and in the
you mean SwiftForth?
The native version. Yeah, SwiftForth has a SwiftX and SwiftForth both optimize. They're like subroutine threaded codes, and they do a couple of different optimizations.
How is he?
To that end, it isn't one-to-one literal. I'm not sure if you can even turn it off.
How easy is it to get them to make a new SwiftX for a new platform?
That's a good question. You have to either pay them to do it, or convince them that there's a lot of money in it for them if they were to do it on their own. It is a question best directed to Leon. I do not speak for Leon. I am just speculating that this is the response. The question properly formed is either A, Leon, how much would it cost to do a SwiftX for James Bowman's fourth engine? Or alternatively, Leon, this automated prophylactic dispenser, marine prophylactic dispenser, maritime prophylactic dispenser, needs a SwiftX to run its bit slice processor from the dark ages. It's actually a FPGA emulation of AMD bit slice, but we digress. And there are 9 million units, so there's a big audience. If you could write the SwiftX for it. No, it's not a thing. Maritime prophylactics involve deciding who gets to go ashore more than actual physical implementations. It's something that you say if you're trying to confuse the issue. All right. You'd have to either come up with something that would make Fourth Incorporated a lot of money, or you'd have to pay them to do it. I think those are the two choices.
Any idea what the cost would be around, maybe? Like neighborhood?
That would be a question for Leon.
Right.
Or you might go up to Leon and say, Leon, I want to, on my own, make a SwiftX for processor X, Y, and Z. Talk to me about what kind of template there is. I have the SwiftX for the 6809 or some. I don't know what SwiftXs are available these. I have the SwiftX for Arduino, and I've been using it for this, that, and the other, and I would like to go forward. And if you pay for a SwiftX for a given processor, you get all the source code and stuff to examine, and it should be pretty easy to do your own SwiftX implementation for a given processor. If you make it available to Leon after you're all done and convince Leon you're competent, he may very well be willing to give you a little help in that regard.
Great idea. Thank you.
But these are all, I'm just blathering, and if you really want to know what Leon thinks, you have to ask Leon.
Right. Understood. Thank you.
Chris is unmuted. Did you have something you care to say?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Yeah, okay, super. So I'm very interested in sort of very small, efficient processors. So I was working with the J1 on the FPGAs, really with the MeCrisp versions. And the memory is only like 16 bits wide. So the only thing that has 16-bit wide data values, most real-time controls, humans can sense it like 20, 24 bits, something like that. The only thing that's at the 16-bit value is audio. CD audio is only 16 bits. But CD audio also has a sort of a frequency component. So it turns out there was this one 16-bit audio processor, but it got the frequencies all wrong. And if you actually look at it more closely, you realize that 16 bits in frequency is not enough for music. So we can hear from 50 to like
You dropped out there for a minute, Chris. Could you go back and re-ask
Yeah,
that?
so let me start again. Sorry if the internet is not so good. I'll slow down a little bit too. So I'm very interested in small processors, the J1 or the MeCrisp version on FPGAs. Actually, the gentleman was asking about efficiency. There's some things you can do there to make them run much faster. But anyhow, so I'm interested in these low-end devices. The ICE40 only has like 16-bit wide memory. And the only thing that's 16-bit wide that I know of is sound, right? Because most human senses or real-time controls are sort of 24 bits wide. Certainly 3-color videos, 24 bits wide. So I've been focused on that. And that works great for the amplitude, but for the frequency, it doesn't work well. So there was this one 16-bit processor, and it gets the frequencies really bad. And if you look at it, we can hear from anywhere from what I think it's 20 hertz all the way up to 20,000 hertz. Numbers are close. And so if you look at the musical scales, that's actually there are 10 different sorry, what's the word? A division of music. There are 10 different of them, and each of them is twice the frequency of the one below it. And so then those get divided up into 12 halftones.
Are you talking about octaves?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Every octave, so that you have 10 octaves that you can hear, and each of those is twice the frequency. And then those get divided up into halftones when there are 12 of those in a particular octave. And then each of those gets divided up into 10 cents, into 10 different cents. And so if you look at the size of the smallest, if you look at the size of the lowest one we can hear, and you look at what a cent is, and then you take that compared to the highest one, you end up with just way more resolution than you can manage in a 16-bit processor, unless you start doing 32-bit stuffs on it, which just slows you down.
I think it's 100 cents.
Yes, so maybe that is. I think you actually have 12 halftones, and each halftone evidently has 10 cents. But I'm not a music theorist person, so one of us is right. And then so you need a higher resolution. So you need to actually do that all in logarithmic, in base 2 logarithm, and then you need to convert it. Okay, and then the other thing that came along is on the RP2040, which is this amazing chip, particularly with the PIOs, the music synthesis software wasn't working very well because its floating point multipliers had a problem, but they just released a new one that has fixed point multipliers, and it works great on the RP2040. And I realized there's no way I can compete with sort of a mainstream chip that's, basically free compared to a $10 FPGA. So I finally realized I need to go to dedicated circuitry for this, kind of a pipelined sine wave generator is the basic one. I have the basic thing designed. Even much of it is written. And there what you get is you can end up doing one because the sine wave is a whole bunch of points, right? So rather than in a CPU, you'll generate one point at a time. In a pipelined FPGA, you can generate a whole series of these, and then every clock cycle you can generate a new point, right? And so and then on a 50 megahertz FPGA running audio that is at like at 20 megahertz, you can basically do 1,000 or sine waves simultaneously, maybe 2,000. And then if you look at the AMI, which is this synthesizer, which just got ported to the RP2040, it can only do 64 sine waves. So this idea that, okay, fourth on the FPGA, kind of hard to compete, but if you add that to some dedicated functionality for an industry, kind of an application-specific CPUs, where you do some, very fast logic for whatever it is you need, well, suddenly that starts to get interesting again. So that's kind of where I'm at. Thank you. Questions?
John Massaria, or however you pronounce it.
Yeah, hi, thank you. I was
You
in a
need to
noisy
raise your
environment.
hand. Yeah, that's fine. You need to raise your hand. Just unmute.
Yeah, no, I was in a noisy environment. I found my daughter's doing robotics in high school, and we're at a meet today. So, but I wanted to introduce myself. My name's John Masseria. I actually the high school I went to in New York City in the mid '70s had an IBM 1130 or 1132 computer. We didn't have Forth, we had Fortran. But I went to the University of Miami. They had a spare UNIVAC mainframe. I actually became a systems programmer while I was studying electrical engineering there, and learned 2200 assembler, and I learned a lot of different languages. But it wasn't until maybe two or 3 years ago that I found the fourth interest group and the fourth group on Facebook that I'd never, I programmed in COBOL and Java and a lot of languages, but never in fourth. It's definitely a very unique language. It is very, one of the applications I saw on one of the user groups was in robotics, where it's actually really good because you can, emit, it's a very nice interface for, telling hardware to do something by just putting values on a stack and then calling a fourth word. So, hopefully I do have some Raspberry Pi Picos and ESP32 devices, and I have been, one of the things I tried to do was, I tried, updating there's the LilyGo VGA ESP32 device, that, I forget the name, the professor in Germany that, ported, forth to it. And I tried upgrading it to Brad's latest version of ESP32 fourth, but I had some problems there. I'll have to go back and do that. If I get that working, I'll present that at a future meeting. But I want to thank everybody. It's a pleasure working, talking and listening to a lot of really smart people.
Your mention of the IBM 1130 reminds me of Carl Clonch, who skipped town and moved his 1130 or 1130s, I think, to Florida. So he won't be attending future meetings in person, should we ever have anything of the sort.
But yeah, it's my understanding. Chuck, did you originally write forth on an IBM 1130, or did I misread that somewhere?
No, that's right. 1130 back in 68. Mohaska Industries.
Wow.
Yeah, Carl Clonch is, as far as I know, the only working IBM 1130 owner. He's not working, he's retired. It's the 1130 that works, if he's actually gotten going. But we can all run 1130 fourth under emulation on the internet, I'm told. Although we never arrived at a simple process that the feeble-minded, such as myself, can manage. Perhaps because the motivation wasn't there. So you can take up that cause if you're interested. Speaking of looking for volunteers, Edward Boraski got paid to program in 1130. I'm looking for a volunteer to hang on to a spare key and understand the instructions for accessing this pile of fourth documents that will be there, I think, at least for a few more months until I can start shipping it to people that want it. So people that are in the Bay Area that are interested in doing that, I was going to harass Doug. Maybe Brad or Dave can do it if I could just write down the instructions and hand them an envelope with a key and the instructions in it. But I think that I'm not sure if we want to put this part of the meeting online and on YouTube, but if we do, there you go. Mark Petferman, do you want to subject 80% PHP and 20% forth? Do you want to talk about that now? Maybe just no? Yes. Unmute, talk.
Do it in French if you want, Mark.
Oh mon Dieu!
I must prepare the documentation and the slides.
I'm looking forward to it. Let me know when you're having it available. And thank you. all the rest of you.
Do you hear me?
Yes,
we
we heard you fine.
Yes.
I said, let me know when it's available, and thank you.
Yes, yes. No problem.
All the rest of you, slackers and ne'er-do-wells, with the exception of Brad and Bill Ragsdale and Charles Moore, what have you presented lately? I want you to get something together, throw a few slides. Bob Armstrong, you got a beautiful background.
Yep.
So
that's
going forward.
But
Bob?
I'm interested in the way my hands will disappear and so forth, depending on what I do.
That's probably because you're the same color as Pikes Peak or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there, my hand will disappear if I put it up into something similarly white. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the nether regions, because it may be that it analyzes the edges of the picture.
Yeah. That's an old picture, but it's pretty much the way it looks right now. So
yeah, cool. Okay. Something I learned many things from Robert Heinlein. But we'll get to that in a second. I wanted to mention that the late Dr. Bob Smith, whose PhD was in actual electrical engineering, was a participant in the IEEE floating point committee. And I hope that the good Lord didn't hold it against him. I've always said floating point is the work of the devil. The 8087 coprocessor always ran hot. So that's why. The thing that I learned from Robert Heinlein is that a motion to adjourn is always in order. It takes precedence and it's voted. So I move we adjourn. That just means stop the recorder. All of you are welcome to continue blathering or speaking with great wisdom and sagacity, as is the case for some of you. I'll leave it to you to sort out which kind you are.